Good morning, everyone, and welcome to This Morning on Asake, a show brought to you by CITE ZW, your trusted source for independent news. I am Nonhlanhla Mabigwa, and I'm here with my co-host, Nkoskhona Dibiti.
Good morning, Nonhlanhla, and good morning to everyone. Welcome to today's show, and today is an exciting one because we've got our city father, the mayor, His Worship, the mayor of the city of Bulawayo, Senator David Coltart. We welcome you. And thank you so much for making time to speak to us, to speak to the residents on pertinent issues and what you are doing as the city. So we are very happy to be here. We are welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And I'm sorry, you were on time. I wasn't, so I apologize for that, for getting your show off to a bit of a late start.
Thank you. Let's get started already.
We are happy to engage with you this morning, Your Worship, and thank you for sparing us your time. Guys, please do follow CITE ZW on X to stay engaged and be part of our discussions. And to enjoy more of CITE ZW programs, please follow CITE ZW on Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. That is CITE ZW. For now, please, let's retweet the link of this space and invite others to join us in this discussion this morning. So, yeah, the rainy season is upon us, Nkosi, and it should mean that our water problems are over. But Bulawayo's crisis runs far deeper than seasonal relief. The city faces declining dam yields caused by siltation, illegal mining in catchment areas, and years of inadequate maintenance. Aging and vandalized infrastructure that constantly breaks down, and increasingly unpredictable rainfall driven by climate change, of course. And rapid population growth has outpaced outdated systems, forcing extreme water rationing and outages that can exceed 120 hours per week. So these shortages undermine public health, livelihoods, and the city's economic prospects. Added governance challenges, centralized control of water sources, limited council revenue, and slow infrastructure upgrades continue to stall progress. Given these challenges, there have been efforts to explore underground water harvesting through feasibility studies in key catchment areas, alongside plans to construct the glass block Bopoma Dam.
Interesting that you mentioned the glass block, and Your Worship, want to hear from you. Probably it's an update. Where are we with that? And what are the plans that are there? And maybe just give us that insight so that residents can know that the plans that are there, at what stage are we in now?
So before I answer that, let me say, just to reinforce what has already been said, that the problems that we face are multifaceted. Mm-hmm. There's no silver bullet. There's no single solution to this, because we've got aging infrastructure that has not been adequately maintained for decades now. For example, down at Nlema pump station, you've got a pump station and a purification works that was built in the 1940s. And we've got hardly any pumps working there. That is working at something like 30% capacity. Residents have seen that the constant bursts of our pipe system, the Nyamandlovu aquifer is running way below its original design capacity. And then on top of that, you've got gold mining. With the gold price where it is now, it's attracting more and more young people desperate for employment into gold mining, and they are devastating our river systems. We've also got the discovery of lithium, for example, upstream of a dam like in Nyankuni, and there are companies literally digging up entire riverbeds there. So it's a huge problem. And the answer isn't just in glass block. The answer is in upgrading the Msiza pipeline, the Mchabez pipeline, totally rehabilitating Nlema. But let me come to glass block. Glass block was first identified back in 1988. There was a feasibility study done in 1988. If you speak to the legendary engineer George Mlilo, who was the city engineer in the 1990s, he's now retired. You know, he went to high office in government. He ended up as a permanent secretary. So he's one of our eminent water engineers. I spoke to him late last year. I happened to meet him. He was in Johannesburg. We were catching a flight together. And he said to me, just without any prompting, glass block has to be done. When he was presented with the choice between glass block and Mchabez in the 1990s, he wanted to go for glass block for a variety of reasons. So the point I'm making is that this is a dam that should have been built in the 1990s and hasn't. Yeah. And here we are almost 4 decades on, and we need to build it. Just to explain some of the stats behind this. The city's current daily water need is 165 megalitres of water per day. Because of the deficiencies in our system and because of drought, and at best we are delivering about 110, 120 megalitres. And sometimes it drops down to 90 or even 80.
Wow. Yeah.
Glass block, when constructed, will deliver 70 megalitres of water per day. So it's a game changer. You'll see from that 110, 120, it will get us up to perhaps a delivery of about 180. Now, that is not going to cater for our long-term needs, but it's critical for our medium-term needs. And that's where Gwashangani comes in. Gwashangani, we commend government for. We say it's a good project, but it is a major engineering project. The easy project is building the dam. The harder engineering project is the 252-kilometer pipeline up ahead of 500 meters, and then finding the power, the electricity to pump that water. And we know the difficulties that we have just in the 40 kilometers from Ngema to Bulawayo, how often that power goes down. So what we say to government is thank you for Gwashangani, but that's our long-term solution. The short-term, medium-term solution is a combination of getting glass block built and also rehabilitating that existing infrastructure.
So just a follow-up, Your Worship, I want to get a sense of, are we at what stage are we at with glass block? Are we saying we are proposing, we're looking for funding, where are we?
So it's been a frustrating experience, I have to say. As I say, a feasibility was done way back in 1988. Before I even came into office in 2023, government had entered into a contract with a civil engineering company, J.R. Goddard. A contract was entered into, it was identified. And when I came into office, this project was simmering. Let's describe it that way. And what we did is we reinvigorated it. We re-engaged Goddard. And at the beginning of 2024, we had a series of meetings with J.R. Goddard. And we established that they still wanted to do the project. We started the discussions with government. And initially, government said that they wanted a tripartite arrangement between Bulawayo City Council, the consortium, Goddard, and Zinwe. And we were very happy with that. And it was on that basis that we went to the African Investment Forum in Morocco in December last year. And we went with a united voice. At that meeting, I was there, the town clerk, Christopher Dube, was there, our chief engineer, Mr. S. Ngube, was there. We had a team from ZEDA, the investment agency. And we had a team from the Ministry of Finance present, representing government. And we presented a united front requesting funding for 98 million, which is the cost of building the dam and the 31-kilometer pipeline. And we had a highly successful time. We were one of 6 projects in the whole of Africa. It was favorably received. And at the end of our presentation, Standard Bank of South Africa advised that they were going to consider an investment of 50 million. The African Development Bank said it would come in with 33 million. And a variety of smaller banks came in with a balance, coming up to 93 million of the 98 that we needed, which was more than enough to get it underway. And so we were delighted. We came back all cock-a-hoop, thinking that all we had to do was finalize the agreements.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, here we are almost a year on, and we still have not nailed down the agreements. In March, the Minister of Water, Dr. Anxious Masuka, advised that ZINWA need no longer be involved, that it could be a bilateral agreement between the Bulawayo City Council and the consortium, which we were happy with. We're quite happy to be involved with ZINWA or to have a direct relationship. And so we then started discussions with the consortium, and there were a few hiccups along the way, and it basically came down to one issue. The consortium obviously is going to get the loan. The city council will not get this loan.
Yeah.
And to secure that loan, it needs to ensure that it can meet its repayments.
Yeah.
To meet its repayments, it has to have a guaranteed flow of water to the city and the flow of money back from the city.
From the city.
And so they wanted an agreement in terms of which they would, we would have a contract for whatever water they supplied to the city, we would pay for. There was concern within the city that we were perhaps laboring the city, burdening the city. And there was a request that we only pay for water we consume. In other words, and this was both councillors, management, and even residents' associations were saying, hold on, you're going to burden the city and residents for 25 years, committing them to pay for all the water supplied when we may have alternative water sources. And my response was, it's academic. If you look at the science, at climate change, at our reduction in water yields, in the devastation of our catchment areas, we are going to need every last drop that they supply. But others were not convinced about that. They were also saying, well, perhaps we have sources of groundwater. Perhaps we can expand Nyamendlovu. Perhaps Gwai Shangani is going to come on board soon. And my response has been, well, if that is the case, provide us with the evidence. Provide us with the factual evidence. Anyway, that was why I produced that report I did a few weeks ago, which I think has led to this interview. And all the science, and this isn't my science, this has come from our top water engineers and others in the country who've been studying Bulawayo's water needs and possible water sources for decades. And they have said there's a limitation to the amount of groundwater that you can secure. There are no other dam sites other than Glass Block. And they have major reservations about Gwai Shangani. Not because it's a project that isn't viable, but it's just very expensive. And they're saying that's a long-term solution. It's not a medium or short-term solution. So anyway, we've been having these debates and discussions. I believe that there's now a broad consensus within the City Council that we need to enter into this agreement with the consortium. And the middle ground now appears to be that we will pay for water supplied up to a certain level, which will enable the consortium to meet their financial obligations to the African Development Bank and the foreign banks. But in the last few weeks, government has now come in again to say, no, they think that ZINWA needs to be involved, which we are happy with. But it now means that we're back to a tripartite arrangement, and the consortium is now engaged with Dr. Masuka, and I understand the consortium met Dr. Masuka this past week. So we are making progress. My frustration, as I said in the last full council meeting, is that we're too slow. I guarantee that if this was in China, that dam would be half built already. And it is deeply frustrating for me as mayor that having pretty much secured the financing in December, that here we are in November, and we haven't signed on the dotted line yet. And that's what I'm pressing for. I need no convincing any longer that this is the right thing that we need to do. We need to get the lawyers to get together, sign the documents, secure the money, and get that dam built.
Well, thank you so much, Senator Coltart, speaking to us on the water crisis in Bulawayo, the solutions around that, the studies that have been done, and providing the facts as well. Guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to this morning on Asake. My name is Nonhlanhla Mapigwa, and I'm here in the studio with Nkosikona DVT, as well as our mayor, the mayor of Bulawayo, Senator David Coltart. Please do request the mic or share a comment in the comment section. I see we have a speaker there. Good morning, Slobo. Welcome to this morning on Asake. What's your question to the mayor this morning?
Thank you so much, Nonhlanhla, for the space and for actually providing us with the platform to be in conversation with the mayor. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, Yaki Slobo. Please do go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So, firstly, I probably just wanted to find out the specific timelines. If we're saying that the gas block dam is a short to medium term solution, so what are the specific timelines that we are working with? And to just find out, I've heard about the commitments, toward the funding and how the mobilization, the resource mobilization towards the funding has been happening, but I also wanted to find out how much funding is needed to actually complete that dam. Thank you so much.
Okay, so in terms of timelines, once we have reached the agreement with the consortium and ZINWA, which with political will can be done within days. It's an if. If we have political will, it can be done within days. I'm a lawyer, 42 years experience. I know what it takes to draft an agreement. There are already draft agreements there. There's not much work to be done. So assuming that we get the political will to sign, to have that agreement signed, that's a matter of days. My ongoing concern is we're now a year on since these financial commitments were first made by the African Development Bank and Standard Bank. And banks allocate money for a certain period, and if that money isn't taken up, they sometimes allocate it to other projects. That remains a concern of mine, that we reach these agreements, we go back to the banks, and they say, well, we've allocated the money elsewhere. So it's a caveat. It's a warning. Once we've got that agreement, we have to go back to the African Development Bank. But I need to just give you some encouragement to listeners that we continue to have discussions with the African Development Bank, even in the last few weeks. The African Development Bank understands the necessity for this dam, and they are totally in support of it. So I am hopeful that once we have reached agreement internally with government, with the consortium, that funding will now be made available quickly. I actually met with the consortium yesterday to ask them this question about timelines. And they are now talking about completing it within 2 years. They're talking about putting the dam on a 24-hour shift, or two shifts that will work 24 hours a day. And if they do that, they can construct it within two years. Then, of course, we've got to fill it. That will take a while longer. But we do have sufficient water at present to see us through. This is about planning and foresight. You've got to plan for the future. If you don't, I used this proverb the other day, a nation without vision perishes. And vision is planning for the future. So we can get by for now, and if we get this water on stream in 2 to 3 years, that will cater. Turning to the question of the cost hasn't changed. The anticipated total cost is about 98 million. We have pledges of 93 million, And the feeling is that once the dam actually gets underway, the word from the African Development Bank is that it's going to be very easy to get the balance of the funding.
Thank you so much. I think you get a sense of how the residents feel about this as an immediate solution. And if it's presented as a medium, short-term solution, it's like next year we will not have this.
No, it's not short-term. I need to clarify. It's medium-term.
It's medium. So we've got a head here on the space. Is that Tsepi? It's Tsepi. Over to you, Tsepi. You can ask the mayor your question.
Thank you so much, Nkosi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Loud and clear.
Thank you. It's a refreshing morning to the mayor, His Worship, Senator David Coltart. It's a pleasure having you on the space. So I have two questions. Question number one, what are some of the environmental and social benefits that the city will gain once the glass block dam is operational? My second question is, considering that there are private players that are coming on board, and us, the residents, will have to jointly pay back the money, what measures are in place to sort of protect residents when we look at issues of tariffs? Because there is a price whenever you are buying the water from the glass block dam, and considering that there are issues around prepaid. So how will residents be protected so that they continue being able to pay for the water? Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for two excellent questions. Firstly, on the environmental issues, there will be a benefit to, particularly not to the residents around Glassblock Dam itself, and even for Matabeleland South, in the sense that when this dam is built, it will provide local residents with cattle at present access to water, and even part of the plan, particularly when Guashangani comes on stream, is to have the ability to release water into Matabeleland South Province, which is drought-stricken. But to reinforce your question, that my answer to your question, environmental studies have been done. Obviously, there is an impact whenever you build a dam as big as this. It will be something like 15 kilometers long. The dam wall will be 3 kilometers wide. There are environmental impact studies, but the overall opinion of the experts is that there will be a minimal negative environmental impact on both the area, but obviously for the city residents, it's a huge positive for city residents. Turning to the issue of tariffs, and this has been used as a reason to object to Glassblock Dam. And I understand residents' concerns. Inevitably, the cost of building this dam is way more than the cost of building the original Nema Dam that was built in the 1940s, and even a dam like Insiza and Mchabez. Mchabez was built over 30 years ago. Building costs were less. All of those dams have now been depreciated, and the cost of water from those dams is less than the cost of water that will come from Glassblock. We anticipate that Glassblock, the cost of water is going to be around about 90 cents, but we have explained to residents that the net cost to residents at the end of the day will be 16 cents.
16 cents.
That is the only net increase to residents. But even if we don't achieve that, my strongest answer to residents is think about the cost of the current chaos in not having water. Think about the daily inconvenience, the health risk. Think about the fact that the absence of water deters investors from coming to our city. And what is that cost? It's a hidden cost, but it is a cost. It prevents development of our city. So that's what residents have to understand. Yes, I would be lying if I said that there will be no increase in cost. There will be an increase in cost because it's inevitable. We're building a dam in 2025, 2026, at 2025, 2026 prices. And it is inevitable that those prices are going to go up. Also, the dam is a further 31 kilometers from Nema. Yeah. We have to pump it 31 kilometers. Yes. There is a cost involved in that. But my final answer to that, to those who are saying Guashangani water, and don't listen to a politician or a lawyer like me. Go and speak to any water engineer, any electrical engineer. Ask them about the magnitude of the engineering project to pump water 252 kilometers up ahead of 500 meters. That's going to cost $400 million to build. Now, if you study the Chronicle of last week, you'll see that the Honorable Minister of Finance, Ntuli Ncube, has allocated $2.5 million this year for the construction of the pipeline. Do the maths. Divide 400 million by 2.5 million and see how many years it's going to take at that rate to pay for that pipeline. But then consider the costs of power and the cost of delivering water 252 kilometers as opposed to the 60 or 70 kilometers from our existing water sources. In the report that I did, and these aren't my figures, these are figures from independent water engineers and the experts. The water delivered will be $2.40 as against the 90 cents that Glassblock is going to be delivering. So residents need to be realistic. We cannot complain about the absence of water and think that there's going to be some miraculous donor that is going to pay for all of this and that we will continue to have water at the cost that we've always enjoyed it. There is a cost involved, but it is a necessary cost. And when the city grows and we get the formal sector functioning again, then I believe that people will be able to afford those increases. And the city has to make some accommodation, perhaps for unemployed, disabled people and those who will really battle to pay for those increased in costs. But it simply has to be done.
Quite interesting to learn about the environmental benefits, what it means as well for the quality of life, and also about the cost really. And I hope we are going to hear more from you guys. I see a hand there. Good morning, Vege. Welcome to This Morning on Asake.
Good morning, Nonhlanhla and Diviti, and good morning to the Mayor of Bulawayo. So maybe as a young person battling with unemployment, my question is, how are local communities being involved in the planning process of building the Glassblock dam? And since I said I'm a young person battling with unemployment, I'd also want to find out how are we going to benefit directly through maybe job creation and improved water success. Thank you.
Okay, that once again, excellent questions. Thank you, ma'am. So first of all, how is the local community involved? You will find that in the course of the last year, we have had extensive consultations with residents. In every ward, our councillors have gone to residents to explain the needs, to explain what is proposed. And so we have not just decided this ourselves. These decisions have come on the back of extensive consultation with all residents, including young people. Going forward in terms of job creation, there's obviously limited numbers of jobs created by the construction of the dam itself, because you've got existing employees in the consortium that operate the machinery. There will be some people employed as general laborers, I'm sure, in the construction of the dam. But to be frank, I'm not sure that many of them will actually come from our city. We will probably be looking at, the consortium will probably look at residents adjacent to the dam itself. But that's where I want us to look to the future. Without secure water, we can't attract investment. And let me just divert the conversation slightly to meetings that we had yesterday with Zimworks. Zimworks is a Zimbabwean company with American investment, and they have been investing in Harare. They operate customer service call centers, and I wasn't aware of their operations. They've been running in Harare since 2018. They now employed 1,200 employees, young Zimbabweans. The average age is 26, and they operate call centers for companies in America and Europe. People will phone in, they want a dental appointment, for example. It's amazing. And a lady in Harare will give the dental appointment for someone who's in Dallas. But they employ 1,200 people. Their projections are that in the coming years, they will be employing 500,000 people in call centers. They've come to Bulawayo. They came yesterday. We had a series of meetings yesterday. I hosted a meeting with the business sector. And I said in my discussions with them, at the very least, Bulawayo, we are booking 20,000 of that 500,000 workforce. But the point, bringing this full circle back to the dam, if we don't have secure sources of water for the next 5, 10, 20, 25 years, we're not going to get that long-term investment. And that's why projects like Glass Block are critical, not just for my generation, but more importantly, for young people like this lady and for you, that we do have fantastic opportunities in this city, but we've got to get the foundations right for the future, and a project like Glass Block is critical to that.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Senator Coltart, for that. I see we have another speaker there. Champion John, welcome to This Morning on our side.
Thank you, Nonshansha. Thank you, Mayor, and other guests there. Thank you as well, Zimbabweans. I think it's a good thing to have a dam, and I think it's going to be better. But I just wanted to ask in terms of the progress in dealing with all these issues that you have raised, I think, because you talked about meetings, you talk about you haven't signed the papers. I just want to ask a question to say, when do you expect those papers to be signed and the process to be started, so that maybe people will have maybe a set of assurance of what's going to happen in terms of the progress, speed, and however. And also maybe, I don't know, it's only that to say, what do you expect to happen since the dam is going to be built? Are we going to also have the same problems that we are still having as well? Because look, I do hear issues of alluvial mining. I do hear issues of plowing closer to the river banks and other ills that causes siltation of dams, especially in Matabele. And what are the measures that you have? Do you now provide education? Do you now provide civic education in terms of this kind of work to avoid siltation of dams? Thank you so much.
Profoundly sobering remarks. Thank you, sir. to respond to the timing, first of all, I just want to reiterate, I'm a ceremonial mayor. I'm not an executive mayor. And I find it very frustrating, quite frankly, because I had more effective authority and power, I would have hoped to have had agreements signed in January this year, never mind waiting in November. But we are making some progress, and I am hopeful that there's now a broad consensus amongst all three of the groupings, the consortium, the City Council, and now ZINWA, which has come back into the picture. And as I say, I've been advised of a positive meeting between the consortium and the Honourable Minister of Lands and Water, Dr. Anxious Masuka, last week. And so I'm hoping that the necessary authorities will now be granted within the coming weeks so that we can progress this. But it's obviously out of my hands, and I hope that programs like this will encourage those responsible to do what is necessary to progress this. Turning to your very sobering remarks, and if you listen carefully to what I said, the solution doesn't just reside in Glassblock Dam. In fact, a critical component, if you look at the report I produced a few weeks ago, you'll see I talk about phase 1 and phase 2. And phase 2, which has to, although it's called phase 2, it has to run concurrently, is the rehabilitation of Ngema. And there's a variety of work that we need to do. We need to upgrade the pipeline from Insiza to Ngema, which is working way below capacity. We need to do the same for the Mchabez link near Umzingwani, which is also working way below capacity. We have to completely upgrade the Ngema pump station. Just to explain to your listeners, we basically have two lines that go from Ngema to reservoirs on the boundaries of the city. The one is the line that goes from Ngema to Fernhill to Criterion in the southwest of the city. That was rehabilitated recently by the African Development Bank. It has new pumps and it works very well. But the other line, which goes from Ngema to Fernhill to Tuli Reservoir, which is near the Howe Mine Road in the southeast of the city, is running way below capacity. It is only at present working at about 30% capacity. The old Salsa pumps are decades old. They're from the 1970s. You might not believe me, but that's the situation. There were originally 8 Salsa pumps. We only have 3, and they are from the 1970s. What we also have to do is we need to double the capacity of the Tuli Reservoir. At present, it has a capacity of 45 megalitres. We need to double that to 90 megalitres, because the Tuli Reservoir supplies all those new developments in the north of the city. And so what is critical, and we've also got to refurbish the pipeline between Ngema and Fernhill. So these things have to happen at the same time. But we've put forward to government those secondary works, or phase 2 works, will cost something like $14.5 million, which is a lot of money for you and me. Yeah. But in the context of government spending, it's not a lot of money. And so we are urging government, whilst we've got foreign funding for Glassblock, we also need to address this phase 2 of the upgrade of Ngema. That is critical. Whether we build Glassblock or not, that has to happen. But turning to this gentleman's point, if we do not tackle the scourge, if I can underline any point this morning, if we don't stop the scourge of the riverbank mining, our dams are going to continually be half full. I use the example of this last rainy season. We had an above average rainy season. We had about 700 mils. And there is a startling comparison to be made between the 3 big dams in Matopus National Parks and our city dams. They are all in the same area. If you go to Maleme, to Togwana, to Mchelele, even now you'll see some of them are close to spilling. They are something like 70 or 80%. All three spilt. They were 100% full in this rainy season. And yet our city dams, for example, Umzingwane only got up to 38% in the last rainy season. And the difference is simply, in the Matopus National Parks, there is no mining going on. The catchment areas are still pristine, and so the water flows into the dams. However, in our catchment areas, and I encourage you as CITE, go down with your cameras. Go down, it's not far from here, 20 kilometers south of here. When you go past Bulawayo and Hope Fountain, you will see devastated rivers. Entire rivers dug up by gold mining. And government banned it last year, if you recall. But on the ground, and I see it, to keep myself sane, I ride a mountain bike. And I ride every week. And I see it with my own eyes. Nothing is happening to stop the gold mining. If you go to Inyankuni, you will be profoundly shocked. Profoundly shocked. Whole mountains taken away. Whole river systems taken away. And it's continuing to this day. If we don't stop that, we can build glass block, we can build all sorts of other water facilities, and we will continue to have water shortages. And it's not just a matter of stopping this. We have to rehabilitate some of these river systems. But I actually went to the lengths of speaking to General Sibanda last year to say this actually needs the military to get involved, quite frankly. Not to shoot people, but I stress, but to come in and help us, because it is a national crisis. It is an existential threat to our city and our nation. And we need Emma, we need the police, we need the army, I believe, to actually come into these areas and stop the mining. If that doesn't happen, then we will continue to have problems with water in our city. And it's not just a problem affecting our city, it's other areas, but it's more acute here.
Thank you so much, Senator Coltart, for interesting insights, and it's been very insightful. In the interest of time, we've run out of time, but the space will continue, and will, as usual, continue with the conversation and share the insights from the residents. And I think it's a very important conversation that needs also the residents as stakeholders, and we try by all means to give them a chance also to speak to you and ask you questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for making time to be with us today. We really appreciate it, and it gives us also a space where we can, allow ordinary people to have a say into what is happening. Probably they have other ideas as well, and things like that. Not like that.
Thank you so much, Nkosi, and thank you so much, Senator Coltart. Thank you so much, guys. The discussion continues. Unfortunately, Nkosi and the mayor have to get into another engagement. But as I've said, the discussion continues. We will note your views as well. We will note your concerns and take them up to the mayor, and I'm sure he's going to engage with you. And I'm happy that he's also very active on X. And so if you write to him, that he's going to respond. So please, let's keep engaging with him. Let's keep the questions coming and the contributions as well in building our city, and also solving our problems. Like today, we are speaking about the water crisis in Bulawayo. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Well, I see we still have more speakers as we let the mayor and Nkosi leave the space. Let's hear from Dobbs. Good morning, Dobbs. Welcome to This Morning on Asake.
Morning. Thanks a lot for the topic and bringing the mayor. My question, I wanted to direct him to the mayor to say, is the council owned money for water by residents and other institutions? as we understand, we have those camps, police camps, army camps, and some of them are overpopulated with the people, which means that they use lots of water. For example, the police camps, we just heard from the Minister of Home Affairs himself, who is responsible for police, saying they now share a room divided by a curtain, meaning that the more people there are, the more water they use. So we wanted to just understand if these two all council man, not only about police, but also about other institutions like education institutions, which are in Bulawayo, including University, Polytechnic, and other colleges. Yeah, that was my question, but unfortunately you've gone, but I hope he will listen and respond to the question. Thanks a lot, everybody. I see my mic.
Well, thank you so much, Dobbs, for raising that. I remember sometime when we were talking about, the money that is owed to the city council, and there were these issues that there are institutions that owe the city council money, and thank you for asking on that to say how far have they gone in terms of resolving that, and also engaging these institutions, to make sure that they pay up, and also even looking at the issues that you're raising, how in terms of housing, there's more people and now even consuming more water, and even in these institutions that are owing the city council some money. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys. Remember, for the news, the website is www.cite.org.zw, and you can also download the app to read the news. We have a CITE app. Please do look up our CITE and download the app to read the news. So thank you so much, guys. Otherwise, it's been a lovely morning. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be talking to Mbuso Fuzwayo about his court application. So please do make sure that you join us at 8:30. Otherwise, have a lovely day.